All the top story tonight, rising coronavirus cases and states imposing tighter restrictions, all with the holidays on the horizon.
White House coronavirus advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci speaking one-on-one with NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil as both the task force and Centers for Disease Control deliver a united message for Americans, and that is please stay home for Thanksgiving. It comes as the U.S. reports more than 170,000 new coronavirus cases and more than 1,800 new deaths. Both those numbers higher than the day before, according to Johns Hopkins University. Tonight, Dr. Fauci talks about the unprecedented development of potential vaccines and why he's giving the Trump administration credit for its efforts against the pandemic. Joe Khalil joining us tonight live from D.C. Joe.
Yeah, Marnie, at this critical time right now in the fight against COVID, we covered a lot of ground with Dr. Fauci. We talked about Operation Warp Speed and the vaccine. We talked about the rising case numbers and the potential for a national shutdown. Dr. Fauci, we want to start off with Operation Warp Speed. It's been unprecedented how quickly Moderna and Pfizer have been able to get to this point with their vaccines so quickly. How have they been able to do that without sacrificing safety?
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that the speed with which this occurred, as you're alluding to, was not compromising safety whatsoever, nor compromising scientific integrity. And what the public needs to know, the risk was not to people. The risk was to money. So that if the vaccine worked, you saved many, many months. If the vaccine doesn't work, then you've lost a lot of money. Fortunately, for Warp Speed and for us, both of those vaccines were extraordinarily efficacious.
Why might it still take months for the general public to get access to this vaccine?
Well, because when you have the availability of doses, they're coming in a rolling fashion. Like at the end of December, we will have 25 of Pfizer and 15 millions of Moderna for 40 million doses for 20 million people. By the time you get to the middle or end of the second quarter, namely April, May, June, July, that the people in the general public will be able to get vaccinated.
But in between now and then, what's your projection on how many people may get sick or even die?
Well, that's going to depend on what we do vis-a-vis public health interventions. So that is really within our own hands and in our own power. So we can never, ever forget wearing masks universally, keeping physical distance, avoiding crowds in congregate settings, particularly indoor, doing things outdoors, preferentially over indoors, washing your hands. They seem very simple, but those are the things that prevent the surges that we're seeing now.
How much credit do you think the Trump administration gets for Operation Warp Speed?
Oh, I think they get considerable credit. I mean, I think you have to call it the way it is. I mean, this was something that was put together, a combination of leadership from the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Defense. Definitely, they should get credit for that.
President Biden would listen to you. He's said as much. So while a lot of people are worried about cases rising over the next few months, people are also worried about a shutdown. What would it take for you to recommend a nationwide shutdown?
Well, it would take a complete failure and lack of an adherence to the kinds of public health measures that I'm talking about. And that's the reason why I keep saying we do not need to shut down this country. We can do mitigation and still keep the economy going in a direction which is up. This is a very difficult period from a public health standpoint. But when I talk about public health mitigation methods, I'm not talking about a complete shutdown of the government.
So right there, Dr. Fauci, pretty confident that he is not going to have to recommend a full shutdown for the Biden administration. But, guys, he did say a lot of that's going to be in our hands, whether we take the next few months seriously in terms of wearing masks and social distancing and all of the rest. A lot of that is going to lie with the will of the American people, guys.
Joe, did Dr. Fauci give you a sense of whether the presidential transition could complicate the fight against COVID-19?
So we did ask Dr. Fauci directly about that. We said, is it concerning that there is not a regular transition of power? And he said directly, yes, he is concerned about that. You know, there's a lot of information about the pandemic, about Operation Warp Speed. That's going to be a major undertaking, and there's information that the Biden administration is simply not getting. So it is a risk that on day one, the administration may be behind.